3 reasons Russia doesn't want peace in Ukraine and why all this talk of being close to a peace deal is all theatre and a massive waste of time. The bottom line is that Putin simply cannot agree to any of it, and if he does, it's solely so he can regroup and relaunch the invasion in the next couple of years. Reason number 1. Ukraine will be a threat to Russia, but not militarily. Even if Russia got everything it says it wants from these negotiations, no NATO, Crimea and all of Donbass, sanctions lifted, Ukraine, though severely weakened, would still be a free and functioning democracy. Free elections, a free press, the rule of law holding corrupt politicians to account, all things that Putin hates. And how do we know he hates them? Because he's made sure that none of these things exist in Russia, so that he and he alone can hold on to power. And with all his talk of Russia and Ukraine being one people, he can't exactly have some of them looking over at Ukraine and asking, hey, if we're one people, then why can't we have those things too? Reason number 2, demobilization. This is a biggie. If Putin signs a peace deal, then in an instant there are around 700,000 Russian soldiers who will expect to be allowed to go home. 700,000 angry, traumatized and armed men who have been used by Putin as cannon fodder for years. There are several risks here. First of all, they'll all be free to tell everyone about the real conditions of the war, rather than the sanitized version of events that Russian state media pumps out, and the true scale of the losses, which have been hidden from the public, won't be able to be hidden for much longer. And it will be insanely difficult to convince these men to go back and fight when Russia inevitably invades Ukraine again. Then there's the risk of a coup. Remember the Wagner rebellion? That got within 60 miles of Moscow, and it was only 8,000 pissed off soldiers. So Putin's solution? Keep them at the front. And the only way he's going to do this is to keep the war going. Reason number 3. It will tank the Russian economy. Russia's economy is a war economy, and if the war ends, it ends. Yes, Russia would gain from the lifting of sanctions and trade with the West, but it's going to take a while for this to be felt. In the short term, Russians can expect an even more dire financial situation than they're currently facing at the moment, all at the same time as those angry soldiers returning home. It's a recipe for civil unrest that Putin just cannot afford. And yet the US and Europe are all still acting like a peace deal and a ceasefire are still on the cards. Meanwhile, here in Ukraine, soldiers are fighting on the front lines without weapons that they really need, and here in the cities we're steadily being bombed into a very dark and very cold winter while Putin stalls yet again